Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone is doing good. So I have, I think, enough people, right? We have 9 people with us, 9 students. Right? Guys, I wanted to know your other chemistry faculty. What is he doing now?
Biomolecules.
He started biomolecules.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So, what other chapters are left in first term?
That's all. With biomolecules, I think we're completing the first one.
Okay, so we had solutions. You had solid state, P block. What is that? Biomolecules. Then, what other chapters are there in first term?
Haloalkanes and
Haloalkanes and alcohol ethers phenols. Other than that,
that's it.
that's it. Okay. Fine. So if we have started biomolecules, what will we do? And when is your first term getting over? Any idea?
No, sir, no ideas. But
whole exam, sir.
Like they have separated into 2 terms, right? CPSC.
Yes,
so first
we're in November, most probably.
November. Okay. 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 So if he has started, I thought I'll start biomolecules today, but he has started. So let him complete then. Fine. So then we have to either see that we have 2 choices. Okay. One, revising, right? But for how many classes you'll revise? You'll have classes till November, right? And anyways, he'll be doing your biomolecules. It'll take its own time. So what do you want to do, people? Any suggestions you have? Can we start a new
Can we
chapter?
do extra questions?
Extra questions. Okay, that we can do. Okay, that is one option. I'll keep it in mind. Any other suggestions?
So maybe we can start with the second term.
That is another option. Okay.
So questions from organic.
Questions when? What?
Questions from organic.
Questions from organic. Okay. But you have only completed two chapters. There is not much reactions there. Fine. I think at least for today, right, we'll solve some extra questions from organic. Okay, that we'll do. Right. I will think about it. Next class, I'll also discuss with Raghav what can be done. Right. Say for today, but we will solve some questions from organic. Okay, good questions we can solve from organic. Right. Fine. Let me share my screen. Is everyone okay for today? We can solve questions from organic. Is it fine, people, for everybody?
Fine, sir.
Okay, fine. Cool. Right. Okay. Fine. Say, let us do this conversion. Okay. Three. Convert it to God. H3 and yeah. Can you do this conversion, people? And once you're done, you can send it to me in paper. I mean, send it to me in WhatsApp. Take a picture and send it to me in WhatsApp once you're done. You know oxidation reactions, right, of alcohols? One second, hold on, guys. One second. Okay. Yeah, go on. So what I was asking is, do you know oxidation reactions of alcohols? Do you know oxidation reactions? When I have an alcohol, if it get oxidized, what are the possibilities?
Ketone.
Products. Yes, tell me.
Ketone.
Okay, one possibility is ketone. Other possibilities?
Acid, sir.
Okay, that is second possibility. One more possibility.
Aldehydes.
Sorry?
Aldehyde.
Aldehydes. Okay, fine. Which cases you will get aldehydes? Which cases you will get ketones? Which cases you will get acids?
If you use rather weak acid, we get alcohol. If you use a very strong oxidizing agent, we get acid, sir.
Okay, right. So if I use a strong oxidizing agent, I will be getting an acid. And if I use a weak oxidizing agent, I'm going to get an aldehyde. What about ketone? Now, in this compound, is this a ketone or aldehyde or acid? This one, like this cordylar compound, it's a ketone or an aldehyde or acid?
It's a ketone, sir.
Ketone, right? Because you have that C double bond O and it has to be attached to two other carbons, right? Okay, so now that definitely it's a ketone, right? So how do you get a ketone?
K2Cr2, sir, potassium permanganate.
I don't understand what.
Yes, K2Cr2, sir.
Yeah, that's okay. K2Cr4, K2Cr2O7, we can use a strong oxidizing agent. But what is the condition that I will get only a ketone from a particular alcohol? How should the alcohol be?
Secondary alcohol, sir.
Right. Now, guys, please understand. Primary alcohols, strong oxidizing agent, right? Strong oxidizing agent. When I bracket O, it's oxidizing agent. I am going to get acids, right? But same primary alcohol, but if you use a weak oxidizing agent, you are going to get an aldehyde, right? Now, when you have a secondary alcohol, whether you have strong or whether you have weak oxidizing agent, you will end up with the ketone only, right? Say if I have to give you some examples, say if I use CH3, CH2, OH, and if I'm going to use KMNO4, I know it's a very strong oxidizing agent. I will be getting an acid directly, CH3COOH, right? But same thing, if I'm going to use any weak oxidizing agent like PCC, what is the full form of PCC? What is the full form of PCC? Full form of PCC? Do you know that something called as PCC exists?
Yes, sir. PCC is there.
PCC exists. So what is the full form? This is a weak oxidizing agent. Okay, this is a weak oxidizing agent. OA represents oxidizing agent. What is PCC? Basically, I'll be getting aldehyde here. CH3CHO is what you will get. So PCC is pyridinium chlorochromate. Okay, it is pyridinium chlorochromate. Okay, you're not worried about the structure, how it looks and all, but at least the name you have to know. Okay, pyridinium chlorochromate, PCC. PCC is a weak oxidizing agent which will oxidize primary alcohols to aldehydes, not acids. Okay, right. Now if I take a secondary alcohol, CH3COH, CH3, and if I put anything, either I put PCC or KMNO4, doesn't matter. Say if I put KMNO4, I'm going to end up with a ketone like this. Right? So you understand, primary alcohols will either give acid or aldehyde depending on what kind of oxidizing agent you use, right? But secondary alcohols, whether you have strong oxidizing agent or a weak oxidizing agent, I am going to get ketone only. Okay, right? Fine. Now, because I'm going to use this in the problem, that's why I told you this. Yes, go on for this conversion. See, think logically, right? I need to have a ketone here, this particular place, right? So what I can have here so that I can oxidize and get it into this ketone, what should I have at this point?
OH.
Exactly, right? So this double bond, the first step would be to remove this double bond and put a OH here. The second step would be oxidation, only two-step process. Now, what will you do to do the keep one OH here? What will you add?
Acid catalyzed hydration.
Acid catalyzed hydration will give what kind of product?
Give primary, sir.
No. Whenever there is an addition reaction across the double bond, what rule you have to keep in mind?
Markovnikov.
Markovnikov's rule you have to keep in mind. So if I apply Markovnikov's rule, where will the OH go? Say if I make it as one carbon, second carbon, where the OH will go?
The CH3.
Not the CH3, this carbon. I'll get a OH here if I go for Markovnikov's. Right? This carbon, right? This particular carbon will get a OH. But I don't want that. I want OH to be on the other carbon. So what should I do?
Then we can use hydroboration.
Yes. Now, guys, conversion of C double bond C to say C OH. Basically, I have to include a H and a OH, right? H2O you're going to add. Okay. Now, there are three ways of doing it. Okay. First one is my acid catalyzed hydration. Right? So in acid catalyzed hydration, it's very simple. When I have a C double bond C, I just have to add H plus and H2O. Basically, a little amount of acid, say 2 to 3 drops of acid in water. Okay, that's what you mean by H plus per H2O. You will be getting CHOH. And here Markovnikov rule should be followed. It's Markovnikov's product. More substituted carbon atom should get the nucleophile. Nucleophile here is OH. Right? Okay. Now, second one is my hydroboration oxidation. Right here, what happens here is when I have a C double bond C, right? Now, what are all the reagents, people? What all I have to keep here? Hydroboration oxidation. What are the reagents here for hydroboration oxidation?
HBH2.
Yes, go on.
HBH2 twice.
Okay, B2H6. Then B2H6 will do the hydroboration. Okay. What is the oxidation part?
Like the reagent which must be added.
Reagent I'm asking. What should come here? If you just write V2H, they'll not give you the answer, people. You should write H2O2 in the presence of OH minus. H2O2, that is your hydrogen peroxide is the one is going to act as a nucleophile. Sorry, oxidizing agent. Okay, H2O2 is going to act as an oxidizing agent. Now you will get C double bond, means or not double bond, single bond. I'm sorry. Right now, what you have to understand in this case is that this is going to be an anti-Markovnikov's product. Right? Last one was an Markovnikov's product. Now this one will be my anti-Markovnikov's product. Okay, there is one more. Anybody knows the name? I don't know whether it's there in the syllabus or not, but you studied it in your 11th class, I guess. Okay, the third one is what is called as, tell me whether you remember this or not. Do you remember this? Oxymercuration, demercuration? At least, do you even remember that you even studied this, something of this sort? Anybody remembers? Is this reaction there in your 12th class textbooks? Did you remember studying this?
So what happens in this reaction? So like,
okay, so here I'll be having the C double bond C. I have to use mercuric acetate. Mercuric acetate formula is HgCH3CO over twice. Okay, and obviously I have to go for water and all hydrolysis and all that. Now you will get again this single bond OH, right? But here again it's going to be Markovnikov's. Okay, here is going to be Markovnikov. Did you study any of this like this? Maybe you would have written HgOAC twice. OAC is nothing but acetate. Okay, did you study any reaction like this in your 12th?
no, sir, I don't think it's the...
You don't. Okay, then forget about it. I do not worry about it. At least the first two, right? One is a Markovnikov's product, the other one is an anti-Markovnikov's product. Acid catalyzed hydration will be Markovnikov's, hydroboration oxidation will be anti-Markovnikov's product. Right? Okay. Now I have given you all the steps. Just write the entire reaction and keep it and send me in WhatsApp this conversion. Okay? You know what to do. Go for it and send me the answer in WhatsApp. Quick. I am online. You can send me. Guys, do not sit idle. Okay, please take a pen and a paper and solve this. I have already given you the answer, already given you the steps. All you have to do is write the reactions and send it to me in WhatsApp. Go for it. are you guys doing? How many of you are there? You have 11 people. I'm not even getting one answer. Okay, one answer I got. B. Okay, BH3 twice, H2O2, and then K2. What is this?
K2CR2.
Okay, K2CR207. Okay, yeah. You should join my club of having a bad handwriting. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the answer is correct, Rohan. Yes, anybody else? Let me make this very clear. I want 11 answers. I want 11 WhatsApp chats with me, or else I am not continuing. I can be quiet. You can also be quiet, and this is not moving forward. As simple as that. I want 11 answers. I can easily ask you to unmute, not even unmute. I can easily ask you to show your camera about what you're sitting and what you're doing. I can easily do it. Do not make me do it. Come on. I want 11 answers, 11 WhatsApp chats for this particular question. Everybody understood, right? So now if I'm not going to get 11 answers, this is not moving forward. You ask for extra questions, and we are solving extra questions. Make use of it. And if this is not going to happen, I am not going to do what you want to do. And even after this, if this is really going to continue, I really have to take some big steps. Okay. Now that anyways you have another faculty who is teaching, right? So my role will be limited at least for the next few amount of time. I don't even have to take class. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give you 1 minute time or maximum 2 minutes time. I want everybody's cameras to be on. I don't know what will you do. I don't know what clothes you're wearing. I don't know what situation you're in, but I'll give you 2 minutes time, right? And everybody has to show me their faces, right? If not, the class ends right now after 2 minutes. I will speak to the management. Unless and until you have any technical issue, there is no other reason I can understand. There is no other reason I will be able to accept. I'll give you 2 minutes time. Sorry?
Should I also turn it on?
Enakana?
Should I also turn it on, sir?
Yeah, if fine, Rohan, maybe you're exempted because you did the answers. Okay, you are exempted. But all the others, time is 10:14. Okay, you have 2 minutes time. I want everybody to turn on their cameras, or else this class ends right now. So I'm using PC. Okay, Satyapriya, if that's the case, like Umar is not able to do it, and if you're really, worried about me taking class, me continuing, send that in WhatsApp. Right? You have 2 minutes time. Time is not 10:15. 2 minutes time. Either you send me in WhatsApp or you have to open your videos and I have to see your faces. What exactly are you doing? Let me see. No, actually, if you're serious. Saram, if I use my mom's phone WhatsApp, she's using it, I'll send the pics in 5 minutes. Okay, Ananya. Okay. Please tell your name also, who's this one who is sending, please. Anandita. Okay. PH3, you had PH2, thrice, H2, 2, absolutely fine, and then came in the 4. Yeah. Okay, Anandita. Good. Nice. Nice work. So time got over.
So can I send it in a minute? Like I'm getting my.
Enakanna?
I'll send it in a minute, sir. I'm just
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
my phone.
yeah. Okay. Okay, Ananya, no problem. Monisha, sir, this device camera is not there, so it is difficult to send the answers. Which device you're using, Monisha? Are you, sorry? PC? Okay, fine. And what about others? Ashik, Anirudh, I think Harini also Harini didn't send, right? Harshita is different. Harshita and Harshita are two different people, right? Or same people? Suryamuthu, Anirudh, Ashik. What happened? See, I know it's online, okay? And if it is in class, I can easily send you out, right? I can easily make you stand up. I can make you feel embarrassed, right? I can go on to all the low level stuff with all the other teachers do, but I'm not that guy, right? I really want to respect my students, right? You see, I don't know if you see me speaking in Tamil, I would have been speaking to you with Vanga Ponga, not Ni Vapo. I don't use that to my students, not only to you, generally anybody for that matter, right? And um and when I say something, right, you ask me something, right? You ask me something in WhatsApp, or say you ask me any doubt, there will not be even a small amount of hesitancy for me to clear your doubts, or for me to do something for you, right? And if that kind of reciprocation, if I'm not going to get from you, right, I will really lose interest, right? Anyway, right? I am not like I have you already have another faculty, right? Chemistry faculty, and I think he's doing good, right? From whatever you're able to understand and whatever you're able to answer, I can understand that he is doing good, right? Say, if this kind of attitude continues, people, if really this kind of attitude continues, I'm telling you now itself, I will stop taking class for this batch. Literally, right? I will stop taking class for this batch, no matter what. Okay, I will tell excellent people that these people do not deserve. Yeah, maybe it's a big word, yes, but you do not deserve this reciprocation. If I am going to give you something, it's like mutual sharing, it's like covalent bond. You give me something, I will give you something. But I now here in this case, I am the one first who's giving you, right? So these small things, when I ask you to send something, when I ask you to answer, when I ask you to unmute and speak, you must speak, and you must do what I say. I am not going to ask you to come and do my household chores. Am I asking you to come and wash my clothes? No, it is for your own benefit, right? How will I know whether you understood or not? By looking at your faces, I can understand if you're in class, right? But in this online setup, right, it is very difficult. And I'm trying my level best to make it interactive, right? Ask you questions, make you ask me questions. All these stuffs are already going on, right? But really, if you just paid money, sir, I just paid money because my parents wanted to join, right? I'm telling you, I will give attendance for you. You do not have to attend the class, right? And one more time, I'm specifically saying one more time, if this happens, when I ask you to send, and I'm going to get very, very small responses. Okay. Now, whoever I'm going to get the response from, for those alone, I should teach, because they only deserve it. Other people doesn't deserve it, right? So for those kind of people who will send, or at least can give me a proper explanation of why they are not even sending. Now, like I can pick names, right? But I really don't want to, right? I don't even know whether you're listening to whatever I'm saying. You just logged in your this thing and then you went off. You're somewhere, right? Now these kind of students I know who are not doing this, okay, right? And I will catch hold of you, right? I am not going to do anything. This is not some 20 years back that I can use a scale and slap you. That is not possible. But diplomatically, I will handle this. Okay, I will make sure that you regret for whatever you're doing, and I'm very serious. Okay. I'm really not in the mood to take class today, but still, like we have some time. We have some students who are really interested. So for them, I will do it. Okay. Next question. Okay. Say, Yes. Do this conversion and send me in WhatsApp. Whoever is interested, I can explain them. Or people who have some technical issues, like say you don't have a phone, you don't have this thing, right? You can tell me, like once you get an idea, you can unmute yourself or send it to me in chat. That okay, so this is the idea. So this particular product is a famous product, right? With the product of which reaction is this? It has a common name also. It has some common name. What is it called as in the market? This one, this particular compound.
Salicylaldehyde.
Good. It's called salicylaldehyde. Okay, it's a product of what reaction? Salicylaldehyde. Okay. It's a product of which reaction? Salicylaldehyde.
Reimer-Tiemann reaction.
Reimer-Tiemann reaction. Yes, absolutely. Reimer-Tiemann reaction. Okay. Can you just go walk me through this Reimer-Tiemann reaction? What is the reactant? What is the product? What is the reagent?
So we use CHCl3 for this.
Okay. Reagent is CHCl3. Only that?
Then NaOH also.
Okay. Generally KOH or NaOH. Any of them you can use. Okay. What is the reactant?
We add water.
Reactant is?
Water.
Water. You put H2O here as the reactant.
So phenol.
Phenol is the reactant. Okay. Now, obviously, the product is this salicylaldehyde. Okay, right. So you understood that the second step of the reaction is going to be Reimer-Tiemann reaction. I would say not even, okay, I think I give you the answer also. So the last step of the reaction is going to be Reimer-Tiemann, right? Once you get a OH here, and then you can use this to form this particular product, right? But how will you convert this Cl to OH?
Use NaOH.
NaOH.
NaOH and acids.
Okay, NaOH is acid is not a thing. What is the other one? NaOH with? Someone was saying NaOH with HCl. Will it work?
First step is you have to take NaOH and make it react with chlorobenzene at 623 Kelvin and 300 ATM.
Good. What is the name of the reaction called as?
Nucleophilic substitution.
Sorry? No. It is not nucleophilic substitution, okay? Like, I mean, it is some way or the other one, it is nucleophilic substitution, but there's a name, like say how you have Reimer-Tiemann reaction, like say Finkelstein reaction, like that. You have a name for the reaction which you told me now. What is the name of the reaction? So basically what I trying to say is this, right? I have chlorobenzene, right? Now you have to go for NaOH, right? It is 623 Kelvin if I'm correct, and 623 Kelvin is basically 300 degrees Celsius, and you have to go for 300 atmospheric pressure, right? Very drastic conditions, very huge temperature, very high pressure and all that. So now you are going to get phenol, and then phenol with obviously this CHCl3 plus KOH you are going to end up with the required product. That is OH with CHO. Okay, now this particular reaction, there's a name to this, right? This is what is called as Dow's
Dow's
process. Correct. Right, it's called Dow's process. Okay, now the next question is, why am I going for this extreme conditions? Right, but see, if I have, say, for example, CH3, CH2, Cl, if I add just NaOH, little water, right, no, just not even heating, nothing, just adding, you will be getting CH3, CH2OH here. But why am I have to go for this drastic conditions in case of chlorobenzene? But it is
Partial
not
double bond.
partial double bond character. Okay, partial double bond character comes because of
So the ortho and para positions. So
sorry. Partial double bond comes because of
the carbon is bonded to, it has sp2 hybridization, so it forms a partial double bond. And even the ortho and para position.
One word. I'll give you this. Double. What is it, Kana?
Resonance.
That's it. That's the word I need. Right. It is because of resonance I can have a partial double bond character. Okay. Now, if I have to represent to you, it's very simple, right? Right. I have this Cl. Now I have a lone pair. This will come. This will break. So now, if I draw the structure, it will be double bond Cl plus. You should put a positive charge, obviously. Right. And then this bond would have broken, and I have a negative charge here. And this will, again, all the other things are remaining same. This will come. This will break. All these things will happen. Anyways. Right. So since I have partial double bond character, right, this kind of nucleophilic substitution reaction is not possible. Okay. That is one of the reason. In general, people, what you have to understand is any benzene compound, right? Any benzene compound will undergo only electrophilic substitution. Nucleophilic substitution will not happen. Even if it has to happen, it has to happen at like this kind of very high extreme temperatures and pressures. Okay, any benzene compound, any benzene derivative, phenol, chlorobenzene, what to say, aldehyde, benzaldehyde, anything for that matter, any nitrophene, nitrobenzene, anything for that matter will not undergo nucleophilic substitution. They will undergo only electrophilic substitution. Right. Now, please understand here. Okay. Now, see, if I have a benzene ring, just benzene ring. Okay. Now, I have a hydrogen here. Right. Now, if at all I need to have an incoming nucleophile, right, basically what has to happen, this H minus should be replaced by nucleophile, whatever be the nucleophile. Right. But you will understand that I am going to have negative charges associated with this benzene ring. If I draw the resonance structure, what will happen? Right. Now I will have bond breaking like this, right? So now I think you already understand. I have a negative charge, a positive charge, this thing, right? Now here also I have a hydrogen. Here also I have a hydrogen. And say that the nucleophilic reaction cannot happen because say now when the incoming nucleophile comes, I'm going to have repulsion because a negative charge of negative charge. And then you see there is a positive charge here. You can assume that, okay, this can go out. But for this to happen, I can have only electrophilic substitution coming. If at all there is an electrophile, right? Now that can come and remove the H plus, not H minus. Okay, the electrophile can come and remove the H plus and not the H minus. Sorry, yeah, correct. Right. So this is the reason. It's all again because of resonance. Right. So because of resonance, there's going to be huge amount of negative charge associated with the benzene ring, not any kind of benzene ring, any kind of benzene derivative. Right. So that is the reason why nucleophilic substitution reaction will not happen. Electrophilic reaction is happening because, I'm sorry, this electrophile will not come here. This electrophile will come and attack this and remove the H plus because there is a negative center there. Okay, right. So these are the reasons why it does not undergo nucleophilic substitution, but electrophilic substitution is okay, right? But even though nucleophilic substitution reaction is going to happen, you see that very huge temperature and very high pressure has to be used for chlorobenzene to convert itself. Right. Now, if, look at this, if I have this one. Even if I just add water and slightly warm it, heat it, this kind of reaction you'll get. Again, this is a nucleophilic substitution. This nucleophile is replaced by this nucleophile. But just because I had this NO2, NO2, NO2 on all the ortho and para positions, I just have to add H2. I don't even need OH minus. NaOH I'm not using. And I'm just using it, say, warming means what? Instead of 25 degrees Celsius room temperature, maybe I have to go for 30 degrees Celsius. Very less temperature and less pressure, right? Why is this reaction becoming easier here? Any idea?
The NO2 is highly negative. So
NO2 is?
highly negative. So when resonance happens, it will give the electron. It stabilizes it, stabilizes the compound in resonance.
Okay, now look at this, people. If I look into the resonance structures of NO2, nitrobenzene, you will get a clear-cut idea. Okay, this is a coordinate bond with an oxygen double bond O, benzene, double bond, double bond, double bond. Okay, right. Now look at this. Now what will be the first resonance structure? There is no lone pair on nitrogen here. Okay, so there is, if I had a lone pair, that lone pair would have come here, made a double bond, and all these things would have happened, right? But the first step here would be this bond going here and this bond breaking in case of nitrobenzene. Not only nitrobenzene, any electron withdrawing group by resonance will be able to do this only. Say, for example, if I had a CHC double bond over here, the same thing would have happened. Give me a moment. Just give me a moment.
You're muted, sir. You're muted.
So you're on mute.
Yeah. So yeah, Raymer-Tayman reaction was correct, Satyapriya, but other two are not correct. Okay. So now what I'm trying to say is, if I have any electron withdrawing group, if anything which can give me minus R effect, right? Those things will activate the benzene ring towards nucleophilic substitution, SN reactions. Okay, let me see how. Anyways, so now if you look at the resonance structure, now this bond goes, this bond comes here. If you write the resonance structure, this would be N double bond NO minus, and this would be there, and this carbon would have had a positive charge. Okay, this carbon would have had a positive charge. Now what can happen next? Now say, now this bond can come here, right? So if this bond comes here, O minus oxygen. Now there's a bond here, and this carbon has lost electron. Now the positive charge will be on this carbon. Again, the next step would be this will come here, and this carbon will have a positive charge. So what you're understanding, if there is any electron withdrawing group by resonance, obviously only by resonance minus R effect, what charge do you see on the benzene ring? You are seeing positive charges on the benzene ring. Right now, that is not the is that not the correct requirement for a nucleophile can come and attack here? Nucleophile can come and attack here. Nucleophile can come and attack here because there are positive centers, right? So when I have an electron withdrawing group by resonance, right, I am going to have positive charges on the benzene ring that can attract the nucleophile for a nucleophilic substitution, right? But say if I had anything like OH, for example. Okay, if I had anything like OH, what will happen? Now I have a lone pair here. This will come and this will break. Now the next resonance structure would be double bond OH plus, and there is a negative charge here. Right now you see, whatever you do, say now this will come, this will break, form a negative charge. This will come, this will break, form a negative charge. Now what do you understand? There is only negative charges associated with the electron donating group that is giving plus R effect. Right? Electron with the drawing group, we saw that it is having a positive charge on benzene ring. Now you see electron donating groups like OH, Cl, NH2, all these things which don't have a lone pair generally. Right? All of them will make sure that there is negative charge on the benzene ring. So what you have to understand is, people, electron donating group by resonance will activate the benzene ring towards electrophilic substitution. Right? So if I have electron with the drawing groups, by resonance, it is having positive charge on the benzene ring, so they will attract nucleophiles, right? But since I have negative charges here when I have electron donating groups, say this electrophile can attack here, here, or here, right? Making sure that I'll be able to have a electrophilic substitution reaction. Okay, now in this question, now look at this. I had, in this case, all I had was one Cl, right? I mean, in this reaction, all I had was one Cl. So for it to make it undergo nucleophilic substitution, obviously I would have had negative, 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 all these things, right? So obviously it would have been very difficult for it to undergo nucleophilic substitution, right? But the moment I had even one NO2, that is any electron with the drawing group, like where is it? Yeah, here, right? Now you see, since I have them, they are going to, if I have, so basically this particular structure would have given me a negative charge here, and that negative would have been taken by this NO2 electron with the drawing group, and that resonance would have happened. Or in other words, this NO2 would have been involved in resonance, and all the cases I'm going to have only negative charge associated with this. So a nucleophilic substitution can react. Sorry, a positive charge associated with this. So electrophilic, nucleophilic substitution can easily happen. Right? Everybody is able to get the point. Anybody has any questions? Everybody is able to understand. Why is it that when I put an NO2, I'm increasing the efficiency of the nucleophilic substitution reaction? Why? Because NO2 has a resonance structure like this. It is going to be having positive on the benzene ring, right? Or in other words, the negative charge created by chlorine because of resonance is taken up by NO2 so that this can be easily cleaned. Yes, anybody has any questions regarding this?
Understood, sir.
Right? I hope everybody will understand. Anybody not able to understand, please let me know. I'll explain again. Okay, right? So why are we talking about this? It's because I want to do this conversion. Right now, I think everybody would have gotten the answer, right? What to do? It's very simple. I have Cl. Now I have to go for NaOH, 623 Kelvin, 300 atmospheric pressure, Dow's process. To have OH here. Then you go for Reimer-Tiemann, CHCl3 plus KOH. You can get OH and CHO. That's it. These two are the reactions required for this conversion. Right. Now, if I can do slight modification, if I have to convert this one to OH and COOH, what you would have done? Instead of CHO, if I have, and same two step, you cannot increase the number of steps. Okay, only two steps. And I like obviously if I include the third step, if I add an oxidizing agent, this will get oxidized to acids. That is okay. Right. But I don't want that. Only in two steps, I want to make this reaction happen. I want to convert this Cl to OH and COOH. What will you do?
So first step will remain the same, sir.
Yeah,
So
first
get
step.
phenol.
Okay, correct. Then
We use a very strong oxidizing agent to convert to COOH.
very strong oxidizing agent too.
Are you saying we have to replace the OH with COOH? Or?
Yeah. Instead of this CHO, I should have COOH in the product. What should I do? I want this to be the product, but only two steps. Okay, I don't know whether you know this. Reimer-Tiemann reaction can also be done like this. OH. Now, if I use CHCl3 and KOH, you will be getting CHO. Okay, but if I use CCl4 and KOH, I'm going to get COOH here. Okay, now a small difference of moving from chloroform to carbon tetrachloride, CHCl3 to CCl4 if you go. Now you can directly convert this to COOH. And what is this called as? There's a common name for this, right? What is it called as? This particular compound, there's a common name. This is called salicylaldehyde. So this will be called as?
Salicylic acid.
That's it. Salicylic acid. Okay. Now remember this. I don't know whether it is there in your textbook. I don't think it is there, right? But this can be used in your board exams. Okay. This is also Reimer-Tayman only.
So doubts.
Yeah.
Here NaOH won't work.
Here?
NaOH will not be working, sir.
Yeah. Obviously, first step it is required. This has to be converted to NaOH. I have to use same thing, 620 Kelvin. You have to convert this into OH and then do the Reimer-Tayman reaction, but with CCl4. That's the only difference here.
Sir, there we use NaOH with CHCl3, sir. Here we are using KOH.
Doesn't matter. All I need is some OH minus. That's it. KOH or NaOH doesn't matter. You can use KOH or NaOH. It's fine. Anything is fine.
We just need an oxidizing agent, sir.
No. Here the KOH role is different. Okay, you have to look at the mechanism for this. You don't have to worry about the mechanism. Okay, here KOH is going to obstruct a proton. It is going to act as a base. Okay, even NaOH if you use, that is going to act as a base by obstructing a proton. Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Right. So again, a two-step. First step is Gauss process to convert this particular compound into this particular compound. And then I want COOH directly means instead of CHCl3 in Reimer-Tayman, use CCl4. Now there is one more way. Okay, the first step is same. There's one more way of getting this compound. Let me see if anybody can tell. This is there in your textbook. So first step would be to chlorine to phenol, Gauss process. Right now, there is one more way by which you will be able to include a COOH here. What will you add here? This is there in a textbook. What reaction? It's a name reaction again. What reaction?
Use Kolb's reaction.
Good. It is Kolb's. Right? What you have to use in Kolb's here?
Sir, Kolb's will take more than one step, sir.
Kolb's will
two
take?
steps. Kolb's reaction.
Sorry. What?
For Kolb's reaction, we need more than one step, sir, to form ONA, and then we have to get CO.
That is understood. Now you can put it in the same step in the sense that you can put basically NaOH, right? And then what? This you can just put it like this. First, second means CO2, right? So you'll add CO2 and you will be getting COOH here. Okay, or actually what we don't understand is when I do the Gauss process, Cl, when I do NaOH Gauss process, you are actually getting only ONA. Okay, you are actually getting ONA and this will be hydrolyzed to form phenol. You don't hydrolyze it then, and then it's only one step, right? Do you get the point?
Understood, sir.
Right. Okay, so then you keep it here only and then do the CO2 directly. You will be getting this as the product. Yes. Okay, right. Good one, I think. What is the time?
It's 10:50.
10:50. Okay, cool. Right, we'll do next question. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh God, wait. Yeah, this is the conversion. So I have a cyclopentane ring with CHO. Now I need a cyclopentane ring with COCH3. See, this looks a bit complex, but it's very simple. Again, two-step process. Okay. See, whenever you think about increasing the number of carbon atoms in the compound, what should come to your mind? Say I have 4 carbon atoms and I need 5 carbon atoms in the product. Say I have 4 carbon atoms. I require 6 carbon atoms in the product. What reagent will come to your mind? What reagent will come to your mind?
Oxidation reagents.
Oxidation reaction, will it increase the number of carbon atoms?
No,
There is one reagent which is going to be very, very helpful in this kind of situations. I told you it's a reagent and it's a name, dash reagent will help you. Okay, if you're thinking so much, the answer is Grignard reagent, right? Okay, now see, this Grignard reagent is very, 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 very versatile. Okay, now I told you how it will be there. It will be R mgx, so it will be R minus mgx plus. Okay, R minus and mgx plus. Okay, so this R minus can act as a very good nucleophile. Okay, this R minus can act as a very good nucleophile. Say how it can act as a nucleophile if, say, I had CH3Cl. Okay, now if you put CH3MgBr, right, what can happen? This CH3 minus will come and replace the Cl minus. So you will get CH3CH3. Right, now instead of this CH3, if I had kept C2H5MgBr, then the product would have been CH3, CH2, CH3. Right, so just by changing this R, in general we write RMgx. So depending, for example, in the reactant there are 4 carbon atoms, and in the product I need 7 carbon atoms, so 3 carbon atom extra. So this should be a 3 carbon atom system. Say it can be CH2, CH2, CH3, or it can be anything for that matter. Depending on the number of carbon atoms missing, accordingly you will choose the Grignard reagent. I hope this makes sense. Right. Okay. Now, guys, I told this can act as a nucleophile. Right. So now, if I take any aldehyde or ketone, right, if I have, in general, if I have a C double bond O. Okay. Now, remember, you will study in aldehydes and ketones chapter that this C double bond O can undergo nucleophilic addition reactions. Right. Now, we know benzene derivatives. I'm sorry, not benzene derivatives. C double bond C will undergo electrophilic addition. Okay, but C double bond O will undergo nucleophilic addition. What is the major difference here? The major difference is here, you see, for example, if I go for H plus bar H2O, right, it is the H plus which comes and first attacks. Right, then comes your OH minus, which will attack and form the OH. Okay, so you see, the first attacking species is an electrophile in case of an electrophilic addition. But in this case, it is the nucleophile which can come and attack here, and this bond will break. Okay, so now that is why it is called a nucleophilic addition. But C double bond C is going to be an electrophilic addition because it is the electrophile which attacks first. In here, a nucleophile attacks first. That's why it is going to be called as nucleophilic addition. Okay, so what kind of product you will get? Now, if this nucleophile attacks here, obviously this carbon cannot have 5 bonds, so this bond has to break. I think I mentioned here. So what will happen now? I have O minus, and you would have gotten the nucleophile here. Correct, right? Now the same thing can happen with your Grignard reagent also, guys, right? So now if I have a C double bond O, right, and if I have an RMgX, right, now this R minus can come and attack this carbonyl carbon, and this bond can break, and obviously this is NGX plus, so that will attack here, right? So you will get OMgX R and 2 more bonds, whatever be the 2 more bonds, depending on whether it's an aldehyde or a ketone. Now what happened, you see, by including this R, you actually increase the chain length. You increase the chain length by using Grignard reagent. Obviously, you have to hydrolyze it. You put H3O plus. Now what will happen? This will get converted to OH with another R like this. 2 more bonds. Okay, so what you understand is, if you want to convert an aldehyde or a ketone to alcohol, you go for reduction, right? Look at this. When I have a C double bond O, you go for a reducing agent, you will be getting OH and H here. Not a big deal. That is reduction. But they will have same number of carbons. Same number of carbon atoms. Right. But if you want to, right, if you want to have this getting converted to OH with increased number of carbon atoms, how many other carbon atoms you can have, right? You have to use your Grignard reagent. Okay, you have to use your Grignard reagent. Normal reduction you do, you are going to get same number of carbon atoms in the aldehyde or ketone and the alcohol which you're going to get, right? But if you need more number of carbons than the initial reactant, you have to go for Grignard reagent, and it is easily going to give me the alcohol. The mechanism is very simple, right? R minus will come and attack this carbon. This bond will break. It will form O minus basically, and that O minus will take up this MgX plus. So you basically have OMgX, and then again this R is there. That is CH3 or C2H5 or whatever it is. Then you add H3O plus. This is going to convert to alcohol. Very, very simple. Right? Okay. Now I can tell you certain things. Right? Now say, assume that this was a ketone. Like say, like this is R, some RCHO. Aldehyde is there. We'll assume aldehyde. Okay. Now to this aldehyde, I add R dash MgX, some other alkyl group is there. Now the mechanism is very simple. This will attack, this will break. So you will get R, C, O, MgX, I can write, or I can even write O minus, not a big deal. O, MgX, R dash, and H. Right. Now I want this to be converted to alcohol. So I add H3O plus. So you'll get R, OH, CHOH, R dash. Is it not this H and R? I'm writing it differently. That's it. So R, CH, OH, R dash. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Right? Okay, so what you understand is, if there is an aldehyde, right, and if I use RNGX, right, you are always going to get a secondary alcohol. Is this not a secondary alcohol? Okay, this is a secondary alcohol. Okay, right, but I know when I just go for reduction, what will I be getting? I will be getting basically RCH2O, which is the primary alcohol. This is what you'll get after reduction. Okay, aldehydes on normal reduction will give you primary alcohols, but aldehydes on reaction with Grignard reagent will give you a secondary alcohol because you're adding one more alkyl group, R dash. That's why. Right. And if you have a ketone, and if I put RNGX, right, I am going to get a tertiary alcohol. How? It's very simple. If I have R, C double bond O, R dash, and if I have this R double dash MgX, right, now again the same thing, R double dash minus will attack this bond will break. So I can write R, C, OMgX or O minus R dash R double dash. Again, what you have to do? Go for H3O plus. So you get R OH R dash R double dash. So what you're getting here is a tertiary alcohol is what you will get. Okay, now one more thing is when there is only one this aldehyde. Now see, if this was formaldehyde and you do this, you do RMGX, right? Same mechanism. This will attack, this will break. So you will have C, O, MgX, H, H, and R, right? Or obviously, if I can hydrolyze it, what will you be getting basically? R, CH2, R, CH2, OH. And what you're getting is a primary, right? That means any other, okay, basically I can tell formaldehyde with your Grignard will give me primary alcohol, right? Any other aldehyde other than formaldehyde, right? Any other aldehyde other than formaldehyde will give you secondary alcohol. And if you have a ketone, you are going to get a tertiary alcohol, right? Mechanisms are very same, right? And see, it's a very, very, very important thing to note that Grignard reagent can increase the chain length by how many ever carbon atoms you can have according to the requirement. One carbon atom means you choose CH3 as R. Two carbon atoms means you choose C2H5 as R, right? But formaldehyde alone will give you what is that? Primary alcohol. Aldehydes will give you any other aldehyde other than formaldehyde will give you secondary alcohol, and ketone will give you a tertiary alcohol, right? I don't know whether you study this reaction in alcohol ethers phenols, but you will study this reaction in your aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acid chapter. Okay, right. Now, anybody has any questions? Everything is clear now regarding the Grignard reagent part. Anybody has any questions?
So first we use Grignard reagent to get alcohol here. It's in this reaction.
I don't understand. What?
We use Grignard reagent to get alcohol and one extra carbon, right? So
Correct. Yes.
then we oxidize that alcohol to get CO.
Yeah, again, you can oxidize the alcohol. That is different story. That will be an entirely different reaction. See, again, I can oxidize this to form RCHO, right? So HCHO can be converted to RCHO. Or say, if I had CH3CHO, right? And if I use, say, CH3MgX, you will be getting what? CH3, CHOH, CH3. And you can convert this by oxidation to form another ketone because there is no secondary alcohol, right? This will form a ketone. So you can directly convert an aldehyde to ketone like this, and that is exactly what was asked in the question. Where is the question? Yeah, look at this. There is an alcohol, sorry, there is an aldehyde, and I want it to convert into ketone. What is the only thing remaining? The CH3 is coming extra, and this CH3 has to come from your Grignard reagent. Okay, now how will I do this now, people? Is very simple. I have this C double bond O and a H. I have only one carbon atom remaining, right? So I can just use CH3MgBr. And you know the mechanism. Mechanism is same. This will come and attack here. This will break. So you will form CH3 H, and there is a OMgX, right? H is already there. O minus will come. OMgX will be there. Now you have to hydrolyze it, right? So to form CH3OH, right? Now what you have to do? Oxidize it. You can use anything. Say K2Cr2O7. Now what will happen? You have C double bond CH3. That's it. This is the end product. That's what we require. Yes, understood? Anybody has any questions? Okay. Anybody has any other questions regarding this Grignard reagent part? Okay, you can use this. See, knowing the reactions alone is not sufficient. You must know where to use it, how to use it during conversions. I'm telling you, 5 marks or even more than that, I would say even 10 marks can come from conversion from the entire organic. right? And the problem with organic is it's not like only one chapter you study, you will be able to do the conversion, right? You have to know all the chapters, all the reactions, then only you can use them efficiently, right? Okay, all these are very, very, very important, right? So even though it's coming under alcohols, this is a very simple reaction for you to know, even though it is going to come in the next chapter. Okay, right? Fine. I think I'll stop with this for today, people, right? And the next class, can we start with the aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids?
Okay, sir.
Everybody's okay? Is everyone okay with me starting aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids? Yes, no, only one
Excuse
answer.
me, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
tell me.
Actually, I think our others have started it, sir.
Which started it?
This has started.
But he's not biomolecules, right?
I think he started it and left it halfway and started solid state.
Oh, okay.
I think because this was not in term one, so he just stopped it.
Understood. So no problem. You tell them in next class that Akash sir has started with aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acid. Let him continue with biomolecules. We'll start fresh. Okay, next class, please inform him.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Fine, guys. Thank you so much. We'll meet again. I'm ending the class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.